sharing the video.
You just log into Yahoo Fantasy Sports?
Yep. Yahoo, way better than anything else. I can't stand ESPN and Regulus. Yahoo, to me, I just like...
NFL?
I tried it. I don't like it. I mean...
I've used Yahoo and NFL. They're similar to me. I don't make a difference.
So, anyways.
Yeah.
Really pumped about...
Yahoo's my number one or whatever, so...
I'm really pumped about today. I really think we're gonna get 30 downloads today, guys. I have a feeling. I just have this aching feeling. It's like
why not?
That feeling we have like scratching downstairs. You get some medication for that, Just like anyways.
Well, go ahead and give your 10 seconds, Matt.
I'm giving my 10 seconds, so
we're rolling.
Playing the music.
Rolling.
It's rolling. We got 10 second break. What's up, everybody? This is Pigskin Dynasty, your podcast for all things Dynasty Fantasy Football. With the sprinkle of sports talk. I'm your host with the most, broadcasting from coast to coast, Matt Phillips. Alongside me to my right is the fantasy leprechaun with his fantasy gold, Scott Euler. And to my left, co-host of FOTP, Flag on the Play. You can find them on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. I'm talking with Anthony Rogers.
My boy almost called me Angie.
Angie. That's a good sub shout.
Angie.
I want to know, why do they call you HB? What is that?
Hater bear, because I hate everything.
You do hate everything.
I do hate everything.
Everything is trash.
Everything is trash, bro.
That is so
good
trash.
to see y'all listen to the podcast.
I do listen to the podcast. Of course I listen to the podcast. But, guys, we have a big show today. We're doing a fantasy draft collab with Flag on the Play. That's going to be on YouTube Live at 12:30. But in the meantime, we're going to go over the fantasy news as well as our what the and our all-in players for the Fantasy Football 2K18 season. So, Scott, why don't you open it up for us?
We're going in, what are we doing first?
Just the sports news.
Sports news? Well, the biggest news of the week, I don't know which one you want to go with. Khalil Mack is probably the biggest news. He gets traded from the Raiders, going to the Bears. That defense is already a pretty good option for fantasy. It just became an insanely good option for fantasy after week one. We got Aaron Rodgers matched up week one. That's not a fun matchup. So if you want to roster two defenses, that's on your decision there. I would leave them out there, let somebody else grab them up, and play somebody with a better matchup for week one there. Matt, what are your thoughts here with the Khalil Mack now being a Chicago Bear?
What are the Raiders doing?
It's easy. It's easy to know what they're doing. They gave John Gruden all their money. 10-year, $100 million. It wasn't a cap problem with Khalil Mack, although there was some restrictions. It's a cash flow problem. They don't have the cash.
The guaranteed cash.
Right.
Gotcha.
When they get to Vegas, they will.
Amongst all these billionaires,
what's funny?
Mark Davis does not have the money.
You know what's hilarious about this is that Aaron Donald held out for the longest time to finally get that con to be the highest paid defensive player here. It's for it to be one day than Khalil Mack.
That's kind of how it works, though, right? Everybody that signs a new deal to be the new. Yeah, it is. It's live. Everybody that signs a new deal to be like the new number one, whatever position, and then it's going to change every time. Yeah. So like for me, whatever. But I agree with you. What are the Raiders doing, yo? Yeah. But I get it. The Raiders have never been like a cash-strapped team, dude. They've always been like broke. When they get to Vegas, though, all that's going to change. It'd be real interesting to see how the Raiders run their organization when they get to Vegas and all that big money and that sponsor money running in. That's a whole different ball game. But as long as they're in that like really trash stadium where the plumbing doesn't even work. Yeah.
But one thing I do want to point out is I believe the defense is going to increases value in fantasy, but I just want to say it boosts Jordan Howard's fantasy value too, because instead of abandoning the run in the second half, he might have more opportunities to run the ball in the second half, thus increasing his workload, which is a big plus for Jordan Howard.
That game script is what we call it. So game script will be more on point to run the ball there for Jordan Howard. Definitely big boost for him.
What do you think of Rickson now? Before Khalil Mack, what was his ADP at? What do you think his ADP at should be?
He's probably a mid-running back 2 before. Now I think he becomes more of a high-end. And then now we also have Matt Nagy coming out and calling him a 3-down back. They want to use him as 3-down back.
Does that regress Curry Cohen a little bit?
He was already too high to begin with. I was completely out into Tariq Cohen there. He was a small gadget player, susceptible to injury as well. Just a PPR guy that you could go with. But even this news, Jordan Howard, I mean, he's had 1,300 yards his first 2 years in the NFL. He does not get the respect.
Underrated. He's
underrated. Does not get the love
Underrated.
from anybody, including even myself. But I'm beginning to see here, Jordan Howard is a really good option, a really high running back 2, maybe a low end running back 1. But if he's able to work the jugs machine as he's been doing this offseason and improve on the passing game, he has a lot of upside to be a top 10, top 5, the surprise guy there in the top amongst the elite running backs.
Anything you want to point out?
I was going to say about with the Jordan Howard thing, I think the reason why he's not getting respect is people just don't trust that it's going to be a consistent thing. Even though I agree with Scott, his numbers show that the numbers are good and stuff like that, but he just doesn't trust that it's going to be a consistent thing in the league. And he's been going back and forth with being really good and not being really good, I guess, in people's mind. But I agree with you, Scott. Every game I've watched, he's been a beast or whatever. And for the Bears last year, he's kind of the only player they had, to be honest with you, on offense. So, yeah, I would take Jordan Howard I think he's a good, 1 or 2 if you have to go there.
I think his value goes up because with the acquisition of Allen Robinson, right? A-Rod. Right.
Yeah.
The passing's going to get better, so it gives more opportunity to that box to be not as loaded up.
I like Trubisky.
And he's going and
I think Trubisky's going to have a great season this year.
I think with Allen Robinson and, like you said, if Jordan Howard can catch some passes out of the backfield, I think he'll be a decent player.
Right. And he's going in the 3rd round, so if you could start your team with a DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham, come back to Michael Thomas in the 2nd round, and Jordan Howard's your running back 1, I mean, you started off 3 great picks right there.
Yeah, I agree.
So, anyways, that's anything else to add with the Bears there?
Nope, that's it, yeah.
All right,
they're trying to just play defense. I can tell you that. With that Khalil Mack trade.
All the touchdowns go to defense.
Yeah, just defense.
So then the next big news, and this is also huge news, Jerick McKinnon, torn ACL with the 49ers. We have a couple options to replace him. Matt, who do you think will have the first job? Who's going to be the biggest benefactor in this offense from the McKinnon injury?
He was almost one of my all-in players after I heard this news, but I didn't want to change my list. It was Alfred Morris, 100%. Let's flash back to when Alfred Morris was good. Washington Redskins. Who was the coordinator? Do you know who the coordinator was? Kyle Shanahan. Who's the head coach of San Francisco 49ers? Kyle Shanahan. Alfred Morris, to me, has a tremendous value. RB2 with high upside. Then if he gets injured, Matt Breida is definitely the next choice, but Alfred Morris for sure.
RB2? I feel like that's high.
No,
that's really high.
That's high.
No, listen. When he was with Washington Redskins, he had over 1,300 yards with that Kyle Shanahan run type offense. Kyle Shanahan likes his run offense with the X receiver. Alfred Morris will be that to me that starting running back that will take off.
I feel like McKinnon was younger and more athletic, so I would have trusted him more in that position. Alfred Morris he's a straightforward runner. I'm not saying he sucks, but he's a straightforward runner, and I don't think he's as athletic as McKinnon in that system. I don't see.
He doesn't need to be. He does not need to be. He wasn't athletic with the Washington Redskins.
I think Breida has tremendous upside here. If Breida is somehow able to be the number 1 workhorse back, Breida has the most upside. So Breida is the guy I'm going after. I understand Alfred Morris is probably going to get the bulk of the carries, probably going to be the true number 1 running back there. But in a PPR, instead of a standard PPR point per reception, Alfred Morris, he never succeeded in that form, so you would get 90 rushing yards from him and be only left with 9 points. Whereas Breida will be worked in like the Tevin Coleman role. He'll get 4 catches for 40 yards, there's 8 points, and then you add whatever he does rushing. So there's an easier storyline to tell to score more points and have a higher upside with Matt Breida. So most of everybody is going to put their money, their fab, their waiver priority, their draft position in Alfred Morris. I'm going to let them do that. And I'm going to go after Matt Breida.
Yeah, but in most leagues where you start 2 running backs, I find it very hard to believe people are going to start Matt Breida unless Alfred Morris is indeed.
He's a flex guy, but then if Alfred Morris goes down and Breida is able to
get
the
I agree,
whole
100%.
Breida has massive upside.
I agree.
Alfred Morris in the same role, having all the carries, the bulk of the workload,
Obviously,
isn't going to have the same upside that Matt Breida has.
You want to say something?
I would stay away from both of them.
Okay.
I
you
don't
can grab Breida probably in the 12th, 13th, 14th round.
You can
Not
get
anymore. He's probably going up now.
Yeah, he might go up now.
Alfred Morris is the one getting the bump.
But see, for me, I would just look for a running back from a different option because if you're in that situation, then I think Scott has good advice. But to me, I would just stay away from him in general because I don't think with McKinnon getting hurt, I think that offense is going to change around a little bit and it'll be more dump offs to the fullbacks and stuff like that.
I don't think so. It's not There's no evidence of what Colin Chandler was in Washington. There's no evidence that that's going to happen.
Alfred Morris is not good.
He's a nice runner between tackles, and he fits the scheme. He's going to be a good runner for them. He's just not going to be catching the ball.
He wouldn't strike me as a beast as a fantasy player. As far as a running back, okay, cool, whatever, they'll be all right. But like talking about catching the ball and all that, man, Alfred Morris is fat and old.
Most of the community, most of fantasy experts, most everybody's going to tell you to go after Alfred Morris. I think the real play here is Matt Breida. A lot cheaper, higher upside. You may have to wait it out a little bit, but there's more upside. There's more, what's the word? Potential. There you go. There's more potential with him on your roster. Thank you. You got me, buddy. Yeah. But there's just more there with Breida than you have in Alfred Morris. So he's cheaper with higher upside. I'm after Matt Breida.
Breida is great. Alfred Morris. Prove Scott wrong.
Get another running back.
You want to lead into what the, Scott?
Yeah, what the. And I have a real bone to pick with.
Before you go, so Anthony, since you're new in this, what there's our version of Come On Man. We go throughout the week, see if sports articles that we instantly thought of, like, what the. Like, what are they doing, you know? So join in if you want. But,
similar to flag on the play when we throw a flag.
Throw flags on version,
the game.
It's branded different.
We're just branding it different. So, Scott, I'll let you go first.
All right, so I got a big bone to pick with Mr. John Elway. Yet again, Mr. Elway, what are you doing? What does Paxton Lynch have on you? We're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. Paxton Lynch hasn't shown you anything in 3 years. He looked like crap this offseason. The second Chad Kelly could get onto the field, he automatically passes in a depth chart like that. Why are we holding on to Paxton Lynch? What does he have on you to force you to keep him on the roster? There's nothing there. Move on from him. What the?
I'll let you go next.
I just want to piggyback off that and say that John Elway loves Paxton Lynch.
He does.
I don't know why.
He's got this infatuation with quarterbacks that are 6'7", 6'8". Brock Osweiler, Paxton.
I'm just happy that the Cowboys didn't draft it because Cowboys wanted to trade up to go.
I thought he was going to be a good player.
He is not good. So. He's not good. And he's had 3 years. He has not developed. He does not look any better in year 3 than he looked in year 1.
I would agree.
Move on.
He looks horrible. That being said, I'll do mine. I'm gonna throw my what the flag or whatever.
Okay.
I'm merging things here, but I'm gonna address the Oakland Raiders and John Gruden. What the hell is going on? How do you come to a team that 2 years ago was really, really good and in the playoffs, and you systematically destroy them? You cut Bryant, right? So you cut him. I know he's facing the suspension, but he's appealing it. Then you trade Khalil Mack. Right? He's Chip Kelly. Thank you, Tank. So he's Chip Kelly. So it's like, what are you doing? You systematically destroying this team. Nobody's calling him out. They paid him a boatload of money for a coach, like more money than any coach has ever gotten. And then all reports are he doesn't like to teach. So he's taken a team that was a young and up and coming team, and he's made them the oldest team in the NFL because he doesn't want to coach players how to play. What the hell? Oakland's going to be 3-13, bro.
And John Gruden said that he's not taking any of the money unless he wins, but let's see that.
Yeah, right.
He had a nice job there, ESPN, making all those
I'm making
dollars.
the money, he says. So anyway, so my what the, guys, is a little bit close to home. Okay, it's my favorite team, man. The Dallas Cowboys. What are you doing? We have the worst front office in the history of the NFL. We're complete trash.
Family dysfunction.
It's
Here,
complete
we're for
trash.
family business.
So, beginning of the training camp, we signed Coney Ely, which is supposed to be the defensive tackle that was going to lead our line, right? We signed him the money. We signed him, and then what happens? We cut him.
He was only there in case Randy Gregory couldn't come back.
Then let's talk about Randy Gregory. He comes back. And guess what? He's in stage 3, which I happen to know a lot of because I'm a Josh Gordon owner. So stage 3 means he can get tested up to 10 times a month, and he has a medical director to oversee him. And if the medical director feels that any way that he's about to break, he can pull him out, which is what's happening right now. He's not going to play week 1. I'll be surprised if he plays the first half of the season. Then that happens. Then let's go into our draft picks, okay? We draft Bo Scarborough, which they said they loved. He was
7th round pick.
7th round pick, but they said they loved him. I understand he's 7th round pick, and then they cut him. Then we trade Ryan Switzer for Jaheed Ward, which is the cornerback for the Oakland Raiders that we wanted, right? And then they cut him. So that trade was null and void. And then out of nowhere, they cut the best kicker in the NFL in Dan Bailey.
I didn't know they owned Justin Tucker.
The second most accurate kicker to me. I'm biased, but they cut him. So, I mean, Cowboys, what are you doing? What the?
It's Jerry Jones, bro.
Jerry Jones is trash. I cannot stand Jerry Jones.
Bro.
Retire Jerry Jones. If you hear
Boss
me,
Hogg
retire.
is your owner. As long as Boss Hogg owns your team, and he worry about them damn Duke boys down in Hazard County taking knees. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing. The Randy Gregory thing, I think the NFL and the PA, when they come back up for renegotiating, they have to do something about the suspension thing. Number one, they didn't fix it last time because when these players get suspended and they're away from the team, that hurts them or whatever. At least in my opinion, I think it hurts them not to be around their friends and their comrades. And then number two or whatever, like you were saying with the medical overseer and pulling them out or whatever, that's opinion based, man. Yeah, if you pull him out, that might make him break even faster because now he feel like he having a setback.
Well, you also have this argument too, that he's getting dinged because marijuana. When,
get rid of that.
So
the NBA and Major League Baseball don't care if their players test positive for marijuana.
Yeah.
Neither should the NFL.
But
I doubt the NFL probably cares. It probably has a lot to do with the sponsors.
Yeah,
NFL has a lot of sponsor money there, so probably a lot of the sponsors don't.
Major League Baseball has a shit ton of sponsors too. So I don't know what to tell you. And the sponsors are way more like conservative on the baseball end of things or whatever because it's traditional. So I don't know. It like the nation's moving towards that. I'm not saying I want players to do hard drugs or anything like that, but I mean, does marijuana really help you play better football?
No, just
test for PEDs and keep it moving, bro.
It's when your body hurts, marijuana makes it so it don't hurt.
Yeah,
I mean,
and plus
really
the CTE thing, man.
But until it's legalized in all 50 states, I don't see it's going to be happening.
I agree
in
with
the
you.
NFL, so.
I'm with that as well. I mean, we're moving there.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. Marijuana will be illegal in all 50 states. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's
also stage one of this suspension list. I only know one player to ever get out of it. Von Miller. He was once in this PED suspension list, this Josh Gordon, Martavis Bryant thing, and he was able to overcome it and get out of it. So just
it's because Von Miller's a superstar. He ain't got time to be suspending Von Miller.
That's right.
He makes you want to bite Old Spice.
Yeah, if Von Miller was named like Michael Bennett and he was just some random dude from the Jacksonville Jaguars, he'll be in the list still. Yeah, they play games, bro. For real, they play games, but. Nevertheless, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. NFL's a dictator in terms of their players. Yeah. But let's go into...
there's one more news item. Dirk Cutter, head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he did come out and he said when Jameis Winston is eligible to come back after his 3-game suspension, he is not guaranteed a starting job week 4.
Yeah, right, Dirk. Yeah, right. No. Like Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to beat out Jameis Winston.
Well, the one thing I will say is, first of all, those 3 games... What are they? The Eagles, Saints, and Steelers. I mean, they're tough. They're probably going to lose all 3. If they're 0-3, James can come back and start. If they somehow win,
if they're 3-0, and Fitzpatrick's playing good, there's no way they're going to break up that chemistry.
But if you look at the schedule, they have a game in week 4, a bye week in week 5. So maybe it's good cohesiveness for the team to roll with Fitzpatrick through week 4, and then give Jameis Winston the extra week, the 2 weeks bye week to get reacclimated to the team. There is that scenario. I'm calling BS. I'm with you on that.
I'm going to go like this. On Flag on the Play, I'm known for having a hot take. Bud said he's the good cop, I'm the bad cop. I don't believe that. But I will say this. Fire Dirk Cutter. You can't even say nothing like that as a coach. Jameis Winston and Ryan Fitzpatrick ain't even on the same planet as far as talent goes. Right. You don't come out and say something like that. I know he's trying to set an example and all that. Whatever. Yeah, right, Dirk. Nobody believes you.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just got breaking news. Antonio Gates just re-signed back with the LA Chargers.
All right.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
San Diego is now the oldest team in the NFL.
Virgil Green, cut him.
Okay.
Also, ask yourself why you own Virgil Green to begin with.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's something we need to talk about. We know how he's going to do. He's not probably going to be a touchdown-type player, so for Phillip Rivers. But anyways, let's go into our all-in. So we just wanted to give you some all-in players that me and Scott are 100% in for the fantasy season. This is the players that we believe are going to go above and beyond their projections and show why the current ADP is a lot lower than it should be. So, Scott, I'll let you go first.
All right, so my first one I'm going to go with, I'm just going to start with the guy with the highest ADP, and that's Joe Mixon. I think you can get him late second, early third, and he has top 3, top 5 running back potential. Bill Lazor, he's the offensive coordinator now for the Bengals. I think this whole offense as a whole in Cincinnati is on the uprise. And Mixon has that David Johnson type ability where he could be a big back between the tackles, 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard pass catcher, and he has the offensive coordinator to call the plays like that. So he has tremendous upside, and he's a pretty decent value there, late second, early third.
He has Ray Rice's hands, too.
I absolutely agree. He does
I was thinking about catching. I'm like, yeah, Ray Rice caught a lot of passes.
No, that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking, you know what I'm talking about.
Domestic violence. Anyways, one thing I am worried about Jim Mixon is just to see how he comes back from his injury, but the volume is going to be there. I think if he's healthy.
He's looked pretty well in preseason.
I still think LaShawn McCoy would be better, but that's a prop bet. Anyways, go ahead, next player.
Oh, you do yours. We'll go back and forth.
All right, so my first player, all in, 100%, Ezekiel Elliott. And I know what you're trying to say, guys. He's a consensus top 5 pick, right? So how can he be an all-in player?
There you go.
All right.
That's the point I wanted to get to. How is Ezekiel Elliott all-in player? Give me a reason why.
Do you know right? He should be the consensus number 1 overall pick. And let me tell you why.
There's the logic.
All right? His volume is going to be over 400 touches. He's going to get the ball. He didn't play all in preseason because they know they're going to run him to the ground. My current projections for him, he's going to have about 350 carries, about 1,500 to 1,600 rushing yards, with about 40 to 50 catches, with about 500 yards there. So it'll be about 2,000 yards, all-purpose yards, with about 15 total touchdowns. And that, to me, is consensus number 1. That's consensus number 1 running back. He's going to have Todd Gurley-like numbers this year, 100% all-in on Ezekiel Elliott.
I would agree with that because I think he's the only offensive option for
that's
that entire team.
You know, if they're going to win, they're going to win via Ezekiel Elliott.
Allen Hurns ain't about to be Dez Bryant, y'all.
No.
So
Michael Gallup might be the
that.
only one. But,
if you're going to go and make Ezekiel Elliott your all-in player, he has to be your number 1 overall player in all of fantasy. I believe you're there, right?
Yeah,
emphatically.
I did a redraft and I got him in the 2nd overall pick. But if I had the 1st overall pick, I would have took him.
Le'Veon Bell went number 1 overall, just to give you a heads up. So Todd Gurley and David Johnson were still available, and he did go all in.
Yeah, he's consistently behind Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, and David Johnson in most redraft.
I'm with you though. He'll get points.
All right, Scott.
All right, so my number 2 guy, I'm going to go Lamar Miller. I think he has running back.
I love Lamar Miller. Love me some Lamar Miller.
You pair him with Deshaun Watson. Look what he did last year. He's going to catch a bunch of balls out of the backfield. And in PPR, that's what we look for. We want those guys that are going to catch balls. He's the only guy there. Deontay Foreman's on the pup, so the first 6 weeks he's out, and then he has to get himself into football shape and work himself back from an Achilles injury. That's late season push if anything is going to happen there. But Lamar Miller,
love me some Lamar Miller.
He's going to get a lot of.
He's going in drafts like in the 5th, 6th round.
Right. He's going so late. I mean, you listen to players; they have him outside their top 24 rankings. That's insane. He could literally finish as the top 10.
You're talking about RB1.
And that's not a hard story to tell.
RB1 volume getting for RB2 mid-round.
On an offense, everybody loves.
Yes. So, and we saw how he did with Deshaun Watson in those 6 games. Like he was doing quite well at Deshaun Watson. But I totally agree. I have Lamar Miller in one of my redraft leagues. I'm all in on him too as well. But I'm all in play number 2. Division rival of the Cowboys, Zach Ertz. Tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me tell you why. He's the consensus number 3 tight end behind Gronk and Travis Kelce. I believe this year he's going to be the number 1 overall tight end. Let me tell you why. Last 3 seasons.
Whoa. I thought Austin Safarian-Jenkins was number 1.
No, he's my bold prediction, bro. Bold prediction. But last 3 years, 70-plus catches. Okay, Gronk had 69. He's beaten Gronk last 3 years in catches. The only gripe about Zach Ertz that people have is that he doesn't get yards and he doesn't get touchdowns. Well, he proved last year he can get touchdowns. They're using him in the red zone a lot. Alshon Jeffrey, gone for the first 2, maybe 3 weeks. That red zone target's going to be him probably. Let's look at the quarterback. Nick Foles is the quarterback. We all saw what Nick Foles did. Zach Ertz did in the Super Bowl. 7 catches, 116 yards, touchdown. Right? Nick Foles likes Zach Ertz. I believe this is the first year Zach Ertz gets over 1,000 yards and he gets double-digit touchdowns. I'm having him at 75 catches, 1,050 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
It's interesting you have Zach Ertz as your all-in player, because if I could have an all-out player, that's going to be Zach Ertz. I'm all out on Zach Ertz as tight end 3. And the whole reason is the Dallas Goedert. They drafted him in the 2nd round. I think he's going to be there. And
we saw what Trey Burton did, right? Trey Burton didn't play any factor to Zach Ertz unless Zach Ertz was injured. Zach Ertz is going to be the target horse. He's going to get 70-plus catches. He's done it consistently to show loyalty to the front office, saying that he can handle the workload. Dallas Goedert does not worry me at all unless Zach Ertz gets injured.
I would say Dallas Goedert didn't look impressive in preseason.
Yeah, but Trey Burton
looked great in preseason.
Trey Burton did good. They traded Trey Burton to Chicago. Trey Burton,
I think Goddard is a really, really athletic player, and I think he used a lot of his athleticism in preseason to get across on some people. but I don't think he went up against the ones enough for me to believe it yet.
We'll see.
Now, I will say this. For a person who's supposed to be a 1 playing against 2s, he looked good.
Yeah.
But
well, the thing is, Dallas Goedert, I'm not saying Dallas Goedert's going to have a good season. He's just going to steal enough from Zach Ertz to limit him from being the number 1 overall tight end.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up, guys.
Yeah.
Last
one I got here for my all-in player, Emmanuel Sanders with Denver Broncos. Case Keenum is just targeting him 10 times in 1 quarter of the preseason. He's going to be insane. He's going to be wide receiver 1 in Denver, and he works and plays most similarly to what Case has played with and succeeded with Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. Plus, you can get him 8th, 9th, 10th round.
Plus, he looks good too. And lastly, my last all-in player is Doug Baldwin. He's steadily dropping in drafts because of his knee injury. If he's confident in his knee injury, the volume is going to be there. I believe he gets 100 catches this year. I'm all in on Doug Baldwin, especially in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yep, and that knee injury also brought his ADP down, so you can get him in the 2nd, 3rd round.
Anyways, guys, catch up on YouTube Live. We're going to do the fantasy draft with Flag on the Play.
Check it out.
Be there. You're going to see the actual draft board on YouTube and with our audio. So
also live on Flag on the Play on Facebook page.
Flag on the Play too. So anyways, guys, see you guys later. See you on YouTube.
Throw the paper back. We get the paper car.
Yeah. That's what I said. I gotta go get the laptop.